This video is going to be a complete continuation of our last video. And if you remember in our last video, we were talking about this zero step, which is going to supercharge your playwright test with artificial intelligence. And it also powers your entire test with just natural language. So you don't need any locators and all those stuff. It's all going to be using like a natural language, and all this locator concept of finding it by XPath, CSS, ID, and all those steps are completely gone with this zero step. And we have also discussed quite a lot of details about its functionality, and also how the zero step dashboard is going to look like, and how the source code can be obtained from the GitHub, something like this, and how you can set up everything using GitHub's documentation over here. So all you have to do is just run this particular npm at zero step playwright-d, and then if you just run the if you add the token, and then if you run this whole test, it is going to just run with your existing playwright test itself. But just that instead of using the page dot method in playwright, you'll be just using the AI method, and then you'll be passing the natural language over there. So that's what we were discussing in our last video, and this was the code that we were discussing. But in this video, we are going to go a level further to see how we can actually test some complex scenarios. Because in our last video, while we were discussing, we just touched base with the basic scenarios, like clicking a link and then entering some like realistic values. I mean, this realistic value itself is like, you don't really know what value that you'll be entering, but you try to enter all the values on the field in the form by just saying this particular sentence there, and all magically worked for you. And also you verified the data, and then you scroll down the page to see if that particular value exists on that page or not. That is what we did in our last video, right? But in this video, based on the comments and questions from community like you asking how we can test some of the complex scenarios, because we know all these fancy tools come up with like testing all these things in much easier fashion as opposed to Selenium, Cypress, or Playwright. But how does this tool works or behave in the complex testing environments? So that is what we'll be discussing in this particular video. Well, as that said, I have made a bit of modification in this particular code this time. I just copy pasted this AI fixture from this particular code base, because you see that this is quite interesting. All you have to do is like just copy this particular code, and then you can create this particular file and paste it over here. Basically, it's using the extend method of Playwright, which is going to help you extend the fixture, which is like you can add your own type on that, and then you can use this particular fixture within your test itself. And that is what I'm going to be doing basically. So what I'm going to do this time is my scenario is going to be a bit different. So I'm going to go to the eapp.swami.com. I'm going to do the login pretty much like how I did last time as well. But just that this time for the complex scenario, what I'm going to do it is I'm going to go to the employee list, and you see that this table over here, it is actually an HTML table, and I wanted to go and hit this edit link. We know that in Selenium or Playwright or Cypress, whichever tool that you take it, in order to click this edit link, we actually need to do quite a lot of things. We need to get that particular table ID, and then we need to get the row and then the table heading to identify the TD, and then go and click that particular edit value based on which name that you're going to be clicking. It is really quite a lot of value that, I mean, quite a lot of work that we have to do over there. But instead of doing all these things over here, I wanted to test if all these operations can be done in just like one single line. Can we even do that? Well, that's what we'll be testing over here. And then I'm going to go and hit edit, and I'm going to tell this zero step to say like, can you go ahead and modify the name of this Karthik to Karthik edit or something like that, and then go and save it and verify if that edited value exists on this particular table. That is what is my scenario. That is what we'll be testing. So this is really a complex scenario as opposed to the one that we did yesterday. So we'll see how this can be achieved. So in order to do that, I'm going to go and create a new file. I'm going to call this as edituser.spec.ts, and I'm going to copy paste the whole code that you see over here. And just that, I'm going to change this to edit user, and all these things remain the same. And the only change which I wanted to do this time is that click the edit link for the user Karthik on this particular table. That is what I really wanted to say. And because as I told you that I also added this particular fixture over here, I'm actually going to make use of this fixture in the edit, and you will see that how the code is going to be quite easy this time as opposed to how it was before. So I'm just going to say /, and you can see that we have this test with fixture, and then this is going to be test, I guess. And now you can get rid of this particular test because we don't really require from the playwright test. I'm just going to use the test from the zero step itself. And over here with the page argument, I also need to have the AI argument along with it. And you see that all these methods are now not complaining for us. So that is the only thing that I need to do. And now guess what? We can get rid of all these unnecessary arguments that we are passing in for this AI method, because this was quite cumbersome in our last video, as I told you. So we can get rid of all of these over here, and now our code will start to look more neat and readable as well, because all you have to do is just pass the natural language or the prompt that you need to enter into this particular AI method, and those things are going to just work magically for you, right? So that is what we need to be doing. And guess what? Because we're going to be doing an edit, I'm just going to say go and assert to have an edit in this particular link. And then I'm just gonna say, once I can just get rid of all these things because I don't really need that. We can start writing one by one. So once I click this particular edit link from Karthik, I wanted to go and change the name or modify or edit the name Karthik to Karthik edit or something like that. And the way which I'm going to be doing for editing this particular Karthik is going to be something like this. I'm going to say edit the name with Karthik edit. That's it. And then I also need to do a submit for saving it, right? For the submit, I guess we also wrote in our last video, like just you say submit the form. So I'm going to copy that and paste it over here and get rid of this page and test. We don't really require them anymore because of the fixture. And once we have this, I'm also going to tell that, can you go ahead and verify if the name Karthik edit exists on this particular table. And that one, I'm actually going to do something like this. I'm going to say var value for await AI, and then I'm going to say get the edited value from the table. So this is what I'm basically telling to get the value from the UI, and I'm going to store the particular value in the var value. I can also do a console log to see if that value really is the one that we are trying to capture, and then we are verifying it correctly or not. So that just we get some visual feel of what is really happening behind the scene. And now I'm going to see how this code can be executed over here. But before I do that, I think my zero step token has been expired or something like that. So if I try to run this test, I will show you what's going to happen. See that the test is just going to run there, but it is going to fail, and it's going to say that the zero step token environment variable must be defined in the defined to execute the AI step. So we need to do that as well. So for doing that, I'm going to go to the AI step, and this was also one of the questions being asked in the comments. I will tell you how you can set that particular token in your bash really. So just go and sign in, and you will see that it's going to take you to the app.zerostep.com. And thanks for the Zero Step team who has offered me 4,000 requests to be served for this month, because it was 1,000 if you sign up for the first time as a user. But because I'm trying out, the Zero Step team has kindly offered me this particular offer. Thank you so much for that. So I'm going to be using this particular offer, and I'm going to try out and see how this actually is going to work. So I'm going to say export and then zero step token, and I'm going to set this particular token. Maybe it's a new token, I'm not sure. So I'm going to go set this value. I'm going to hit enter. There we go. So that's been set now, and you can test if that particular value is been set or not by using echo of zero token, and if you hit enter, and you will see that this token is being set over there, which means the token does exist for you, and now you can start doing what you're trying to do. So I'm going to run the test, and we will see if this time the test is going to run or not. So you'll see that now the test is opening up. The page is not complaining anything, and it is entering the username and password. And we'll see if the edit link is going to be clicked in the employee list. And there we go. Do you see that it is clicking the edit link there, and also modifying just the name of the Karthik to Karthik edit, and has also verified if the edited value does exist or not. And now you can just go ahead and do an npx playwright of the show report or something like that. Let's see, npx playwright show report, and we get this particular report for us, and you will see that it is printing you all the values over here. And yeah, it is already working for us, which is quite awesome, right? So this is how we can perform an edit operation. Now, the next scenario which I wanted to do is I wanted to go even level further to see if we can able to handle some more complex scenarios. And that is nothing but if I want to go to Prashant and I'm going to hit this benefits over there, I want to see if I could able to get all the basic benefits and all the additional benefits, and I can verify if this benefit does exist for Prashant or not. That is what I wanted to do. So in order to do that, I'm gonna once again do the exact same thing, but instead of me writing the code once again, I'm just gonna paste this whole code that I have already written, the get benefits.spec.ts. And you will notice that the login command is pretty much exactly the same. And the only change which I have made this time is I have did this particular prompt. I said like click benefits link for user Prashant on the table. So that is what I'm saying there. And then I'm saying expect to have an benefit URL, because once you click the benefit, the URL is going to be /benefits. And then I'm going to say await AI to get all the basic benefits. So I'm just saying get all the basic benefits for me, pretty much like how an end user does to tell what are the benefits that exist on the particular page. So it's just going to grab all the data for you and it's going to store it over here. And then I'm going to say get all the additional benefits. That's it. And it's going to store it into this particular variable. And now I can even print out those logs, and then I can verify if it contains gym and car for the additional benefits. See, I'm just writing pretty much like how an like a natural language and how a manual test engineer does that, and it's even more readable and everything is super easy to understand, right? So now let's see if that works or not. So I'm gonna say npx playwright test of test, and instead of edit, I'm gonna say get benefits .spec.ts, and you'll notice that the test is pretty much like starting to run again, and it's going to perform the login, and it's going to do the username and password entry, and it's going to go click Prashant. There we go. It's going to grab the benefits for you, and you'll also notice that it is printing us the benefits that we have got for Prashant, and also cars and drive higher. And you'll also notice that the test is passing it over here. So this is passing because we could able to get those value over there. So this is how we can see that we could able to get all the operation or complex operation being accomplished using this particular zero step. And I feel like the way that we can write this particular code, we can even do a combo of both the AI code along with the playwright code, because we know that the playwright code is not fragile at all and it has got so many different functionalities. And some places where if you think that the AI is still maturing or you wanted to do some more operation, then you can even fuse that operation along with this particular AI tool, which is zero step, and make your code look more beautiful and readable. Like all these complex operations like boilerplate codes, you can move to AI, and some code that you feel like should exist in playwright, you can use that as well. So we can use both the combination. Probably that makes more sense this time, and I think the complex scenarios are really handled in this particular zero step in much easier fashion.